you prepare yourself for the training and everything. But on the day of the match, a lot of things happen in the game. It's full of tactics, and I think if you play your tactics very well in the game, you have a very good result. It's a revenge matches for us, Portugal and Uruguay. So I think that with the hands of the interim coaches that we have, the three Musketeers, who really did a very good job in the playoff matches, they are well ready for the contest, and I believe that they will bring out a very good plan towards these matches.
Godwin Tram, he is currently a coach and in charge of under 23 national team. Now, he previously was captain of the Black Starlets and paid his dues there very, very adequately. Now, years on, he is one of the people who are credited greatly for powering and fueling Ghana's participation to her first FIFA World Cup in Germany. He took part in the qualification process, but was not selected to play in, Germany. Well, also here with us is Osei Owusu-Bempah, a senior football analyst who has a lot in terms of the facts and the figures and has very big perspectives to bring to this conversation. Now, I would get virtual now and have a quick conversation with him, get his opening thoughts on this group, and then we'll get down to the conversation that we had with George Boateng, assistant coach of the Black Stars team. All right, so let's just quickly get on to Zoom and have a conversation with him now. Thank you very much, Osei Owusu-Bempah. It's always great to have you here on the show.
Thank you very much, Nat. Congratulations on the birth of your boy.
Thank you very much.
We thank God for his life. Thank God for the life of the woman, your wife. And we thank God we've got an additional person to join the Joy Sports team.
Thank you. I thought you were going to say Accra Hearts of Oak.
This guy probably, he was born on the day Ghana was playing Nigeria in Kumasi. Hopefully he becomes a Kotoko supporter.
Oh! But my father will turn in his grave if he hears that,
I know, but you see, your dad was has a folk, blood born and bred has a folk fan. You joined the family trade. I'm sure he probably may stray a little bit away. Who knows? Tomorrow he becomes a Kotoko supporter.
All right.
But congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Look, what was your initial reaction when you saw the draw done for especially Group H because of Ghanaian interest?
In fact, a couple of days before the draw, I followed a lot of radio, television, and media conversations regarding people praying and hoping and chanting or whatever it is, what group that we want to be in. The most important, and I think a week ago today, we were thinking of qualification in the first place. Now you qualified, and then you are looking for quote unquote a manageable group to play in. I think the most important thing was that we had qualified, and then regardless whichever team that we are drawn in, we should be able to manage it. After all, in 2006, when we made our maiden appearance, we were in a group of Czech Republic, USA, and Italy. These teams were rated way, way, way above Ghana on the FIFA ranking. Yet it was Ghana that went through. Even after we lost our first game, we went on to beat the USA and beat the Czech Republic, almighty Czech Republic at the time, and made it through. So I wasn't so much concerned the teams that we meet. And that's the most important thing is that from now to the kickoff, we have about 8 months, and whatever teams that we are drawn in, we should be able to work hard and manage to get out of the group to the second round.
We should be able to work hard and manage to get out of the group for the second round. Compared to Brazil, how confident are you at this time, especially because of the kind of performances this new look Black Stars put up during the last round of matches in the playoffs?
Well, I would say this is an entirely new Black Stars. And I say this on the basis of the fact that we have an entirely new technical team. Before we played the first leg against Nigeria, my worry was that, especially in the Kumasi game, My worry was that the technical team had not had an opportunity, unlike the Nigerians, of playing even a single friendly game with the Black Stars. In the case of Nigeria, under Iguavon, they had played 4 competitive games, 3 Nations Cup group games, and then 1 group game one elimination game that they lost to Tunisia at the second round.
Yeah.
But the fact that we've been able to manage 120 minutes, 180 minutes of this against the Nigerians, we have 8 months to go. And I'm sure a couple of try games. And I also know that between now and November, we probably will be playing some African Cup of Nations 2023 qualifiers. And that will give the coaches the opportunity to see what the players are made of and who will make the trip to Qatar. I think that I believe in the competence of the technical team, the unity that existed between them. And let me say this now. Soon after the game against Nigeria in Abuja, I got to know that, for example, after the draw was made, a person like Didi Dramani had actually scouted the Nigerian team, even though he was not aware that he was going to be part of the technical team. In fact, I understand he was doing this in the anticipation that whoever was going to take the mantle to play the 2 games between Nigeria, he was going to volunteer the information that he had gathered from his scouting to that person to be able to play the Nigerians. Little did he know that he was going to be part of that team. And so even when he was invited to join the team, he had virtually done almost everything that he needed, whoever was going to handle the team to do. So the job was made a little bit relatively easier. And I believe that if you look at the unity between him, Otto, the head coach, and George, together with Chris Hutton, I believe that we have a team of technical men capable of taking the team to the level that Ghanaians expect them to be. This time, at least the quarterfinals, to repeat what we did in South Africa.
If you just joined us, this is the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Greetings to all of our friends who are also joining us on YouTube via My Joy Online TV. And remember, you can join the conversations. It's +233 55 1111997. +233 55 1111997. Here with me in studio is Godwin Atram, who's in charge of the national under-23 team, the Black Meteors, and also a former Black Starlets captain, and also a member of the squad that helped Ghana to qualify for the FIFA World Cup, its first one in 2006. Also an ex-player coach of Accra Great Olympics as well, who brought his talent and his experience to bear on the Ghana Premier League following his retirement. Also joining us virtually is seasoned football analyst and former broadcaster Osei Osubempa from his base in the Ashanti region. And we're just having a conversation on immediate reactions after the look and feel of Group H came out. So you can also send in your messages. Is this the time for revenge? Do you think that is going to be difficult? The legend here has said that it's going to be a very tricky one. It's going to be a difficult one, especially against Portugal. And he stated his reasons. You also state your reasons, because the conversation has to involve you and has to include you as well. And as I mentioned earlier, in a few moments, we're going to go on to have a replay of that conversation that Oreku Ampofu of Joy Sports had with assistant Black Stars coach George Boateng. For now, however, one final question before we go into that interview, gentlemen. We're seeing a trend where players who were being practically beckoned, whatever you'd want to say, however you'd want to describe it, to come and play for the Black Stars, now making statements and granting interviews and saying, well, we love Ghana, we want to play now, we're ready to play now, without any specific reference to any of the names. I mean, we've seen the stories fly around. And my question now is, what has changed? Because all of these players we're talking about had concerns. Some of these concerns they articulated to some of us. And some of these concerns bordered around the alleged, selling of places to players and all of that by FA officials. Some of it, bordering around regular treatment of players. And some of it also drawn from the old stories from the 90s, where senior players would buy their own tickets and come and play for the Black Stars and not get reimbursed. So what has changed now, and what should be the mindset and the posture of the FA to players who are now willing, now that the qualification ticket has been secured? Yeah, let me begin with you, Uzueba.
Yeah, Nat, thank you very much. I'm very happy that between now and November, there are a couple of other games. Remember when, let me just be specific. Kevin Boateng, for example, was given the opportunity to play for Ghana at the World Cup. He failed to play in almost all the qualification matches and also even at the African Cup of Nations. This time, there are a couple of AFCON qualifiers before we get there. If these players are indeed ready to play, as part of the integration and assessment, they should make themselves available to play in the African Cup of Nations qualifiers before the campaign process for the World Cup. And I hope that these players are not in because there's something to be made. There is opportunity for big bumper contracts if they play well, if and when they get an opportunity to play at the World Cup and they play well, and then the money begins to flow, the image, and everything that comes, the positive things that come with the World Cup, all those things can. If these guys are ready to play, let's see them first at the Nations Cup qualifiers, and then we'll be able to assess how ready they are. We don't want a situation where you're picking players, others have suffered. I think throughout the qualification for this World Cup, Ghana has used not less than 70 players, from CK to Milo to Otu. And so it will be painful for players who have played about 30, 40, even 50, 60% of these games to not get opportunity to play just because we've invited some quote unquote very known, more sought after players to come and join the team. And I think speaking as a journalist, I'm sure Fatau mentioning the fact that Atram was part of the team that qualified Ghana for the maiden tournament. Unfortunately, he couldn't get a chance to play. We remember the stories, the much publicized stories of Lai Kingston, for instance, a guy who did so well for us to qualify for the first World Cup, but as well as the second World Cup, and then didn't get opportunity for one reason or another to play. It will hurt some of these guys, and remember, they also have their colleagues and sympathizers within the team, if they make it to the World Cup, as and when they get to the World Cup. And so I hope that these players will show some initial commitment by not just waiting to be called into the team for the World Cup, but also experiment with them and see actually their readiness. Some of them could be very good playing for their clubs. On the African continent, in the national team, probably they will not be able to integrate very well. This will also help us to be able to assess them. And I hope that they will not be in the situation where they think it's opportunity for them to just come and take the nation to ransom and take advantage of Ghana.
Thoughts as well on this subject?
Yeah, sure. I think he has said it all. I really agree with him. We also have footballers, we have sympathizers, you know. I was in Nigeria, Abuja. If you really saw what happened there, you'll be very marveled. Trust me. The same thing happened in Congo, our time, 2006. It was like a war.
I see.
Yeah, a war. We qualified, and exactly the same thing happened again. You know, it's not going to be easy for players who play qualifying series and they will be dropped out. I don't support that. So what he's saying, although it depends on the coaches, they are the ones who are going to select the players. We have qualifying series matches to be played from now till November. And if players who are willing to play now, they should come and justify. They should come and justify. But it shouldn't be that they will be there and waiting till the World Cup time and then they will be selected for the World Cup. It's totally wrong. They must come and justify.
Well, you need to also send in your messages on this particular subject regarding who will make it into the final set of players who will be there at the Mundial in November and December of this year. Well, would be switching to Fatau Dauda, goalkeeper Fatau Dauda, played at the Africa Cup of Nations, won the Ghana Premier League, also played in the South African Premier League, won that trophy as well, and has a lot of experience to share with his younger folks. Came back to also give back to the Ghana Premier League via Legon City's football club. And most importantly, for the purposes of this discussion, Fatau Dauda was the man in post when Ghana lost by 2-1 to Portugal at her last FIFA World Cup in Brazil in 2014. Now, one of the major moments in that game was when he saved a ball from Cristiano Ronaldo and celebrated. You know, some months earlier, or I think it was in in the year 2020, when I interviewed him during COVID, he said to me that, listen, it was major. Cristiano Ronaldo is a big player. On a regular day, he would score. So if I've saved it, it's just right for me to celebrate. There's nothing wrong with it. He justified that celebration. But he is the right man to also tell us how much tension, the kind of tension that Coach Godwin Atram is describing in this game that we will be playing later this year against Portugal. Thank you very much once again for joining us, Fatau Dauda, the man known as the Lion.
Thank you, bro. You're welcome.
Well, good to see you.
Bro, good to see you too. You're always looking good, bro.
Thank you. We try. Thank you very much. I hope Madame is doing
my,
well.
My senior man to the Platini coach.
I salute you.
Fantastic man. I remember recently I played a game with him when Apia was celebrating his birthday at Bukum. No, is it Bukum? No, it's
on the AstroTurf pitch. Yes.
I say the ball Platini play. I was like, wow, this generation where they have a lot to learn.
Wow. Interesting stuff there. Now, Fatau, we've been talking about the group. I mean, and with specific reference to Portugal, because you know what it means to play Portugal at the FIFA World Cup. Now, tell me, how much pressure could there be on Ghana as we go into this game, knowing very well that we lost the first installment at the FIFA World Cup in Brazil?
I think we were expecting a draw to be taken, and then go so good. It has been done yesterday. We now know our group. I know preparation will start immediately after the draw yesterday. We have about 8 months, but the early we get prepared, the early I think we'll have our opponent to rate and then play. Coach Akram will classify that. And football is now dynamics. It's being played by tactics. In this stage too, you are going to play. You need to play with a clever player. You are going to play against intelligent players. So definitely players must listen to their coaches and play according to the rule they will be given to. Well, I don't see pressure to be on them because you are going to play the biggest football events on earth, that's World Cup. These things sometimes happen once in a lifetime. And this is an opportunity for the boys to go and show themselves. You all saw what happened during the AFCON when Comoros and other countries surprised us. So yesterday when the draw was being, I think people were trying to dodge some countries. But here we found ourselves in the group with Portugal, Uruguay, and then South Korea. I think psychological aspects, Ghana would like to beat Portugal. Ghana would like to beat Uruguay and then South Korea. South Korea, we played them in the warm-up game when we were going to Brazil. We played them in Washington. We beat them 4-0. So that team will hunt them. They will come for revenge. Portugal beat us 2-1 in 2014 Brazil. Ghana will go for revenge. I'm talking about psychological aspect. Uruguay, what Suarez did to us, we need to pay them back. So I think maybe this what will make pressure come to the boys. Like they need to also beat the countries that beat us during the 2014 and 2010 World Cup. But without that, I think there should be pressure. World Cup, you go there, you enjoy. If you go and play well on the field of play, fans will cheer you up and you enjoy the game. So I'm not sure there should be pressure on the boys. If you have pressure, you know you go under pressure. If they invite you, just tell the coach, I can't play. There are a lot of players who can play.
Now, I'd want you to tell me about, the bit where everybody argues that Ghana shouldn't have lost that game against Portugal in Brazil. We look at the way the game went. There were those who, because of the Cristiano Ronaldo factor, were very, very paranoid about our chances and how we were going to crumble possibly before Portugal. But then the game went pretty okay and Ghana even got a goal.
Yes, in that game, we should have won that game because we had chances. But I think some off the pitch issues also distract us, in which I can't see it on this platform. We all heard what happened. And something that I've not seen in my eyes, I can't say it. I heard it also when I was there because that thing happened overnight and I was on my bed. I didn't see what happened. I just read it and heard it. But if I'm not saying it, I can't say it. So I think that also distracts us. It's a tournament that is open. I thought we have passed through, but even before the Portugal game, the German game was good. And then we came to the Portugal game, it was also good. We had some chances that we should at least draw that game, but we lost. So I think it's an experience for us, you know. So I think these guys will take something, they will learn something from the past tournaments.
Mm. Well, if you just joined us, we're here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. You just heard submissions from Fatau Dauda, who is the man who was in post when Ghana played against Portugal at her last FIFA World Cup in Brazil in 2014. Ghana lost that game by 2-1. Also here with me in the studio are Coach Godwin Atram, former captain of the Black Starlets and a member of the squad that qualified Ghana for the FIFA World Cup in 2006, and also head coach and proprietor of the Accra City Football Club or Atram Devisa Academy as well. And he now is contributing heavily in terms of technical direction to the under-23 national football team. Osei Osubempa is a seasoned football analyst, and he's also joining us virtually. We're having this conversation together. Now, we will take a listen to George Boateng, who is a member of this technical team. Now, Coach Godwin Atram here has described them as the Three Musketeers. Well, let's take a listen to one of the Three Musketeers, his mindset, how we went about, these games, and how all the story about the conquest of Nigeria happened ahead of our participation in the next FIFA World Cup.
I've always said that if my service is required to help the national team, I'm always available. But the reason why I said that is because obviously I'm still contracted to Aston Villa, and at the end of the day, I know that they always will dictate whether I'm allowed to do it or not. But the timing seems right. I think looking at the African Cup of Nations, I think the FA, the fans, the players felt that the time for a new change, new direction, and I'm delighted to be part of that new direction, new setup, the new technical team. I was really, really happy when I got the call, the message actually, from the president of the GFA, Mr. Kurt Okraku. He said to me, like, you are part of this team. Otoado is going to be the head coach. The technical advisor will be Mr. Chris Hutton. Didi Damani will be assistant coach with yourself. But keep it for yourself, because obviously it's not out yet in the media. And I was like, sure, no problem. As soon as the conversation ended, within 30 minutes, it was already in the press.
Typical.
I was like, hey, the news travels fast.
Yeah. Let's try and journey through the whole process. We'll come to the World Cup qualification, but after you're appointed, now the moment was getting closer. Decision day, game day. Let's start off with assembling the squad. Usually it's just two, you have a coach and assistant coach, but I'm assuming that all four technical members, and perhaps even more, were involved in putting this squad together. How was the process like, knowing that you are putting a squad together that have such a hefty task ahead of them?
Yeah, I think the implications that occurred, not a lot of people will realize or think about how difficult and challenging it was, because you can imagine the head coach Otoado has a full-time job at Dortmund. I was full-time, still is, at Aston Villa. You had Chris Hutton, who was the technical advisor. Didi Damani is here also working full-time. We had Richard Kingston here also doing bits and pieces. So it was really tough, really challenging. So what happened a lot was that after our work in the UK and in Germany respectively, we then came together, always on Zoom. Sometimes it would run over, we would give ourselves 3 hours, but before we would realize it was like midnight. And then we would cut off the meeting, yet we were still messaging each other, what about this, what about that? So we end up sometimes sleeping at 1 a.m. Since the end of January, we've all been working really, really hard, making the program, the travel, the training times, the schedule, So we were not sleeping actually because of us having a daytime job. Everything that we were doing was afterwards, but it was fantastic looking back, the way we've done it, how we did it. The team, we divided the jobs and the roles. Our blessing was that Didi and Richard Kingston were already here, so they took part of all the groundwork here, i.e. Cape Coast initially. Do we have balls, bibs, cones? What about the pitch? What about the time? Do we have removable goals? So Didi and Richard were all taking care of the local stuff, and Otto and me and Chris were taking part of the foreign stuff. So all the players abroad, are we speaking to them? Are we going to watch them? We saw that the Nigerians were putting out posts about going to visit Arsenal,
Yeah.
and then we got loads of messages from Ghana saying, oh, why are they not going to watch the players? Why are they not taking pictures with them? But we chose to rather focus on the job and do the job rather than letting the world know that we are doing the job. I.e., we watch games. Chris Hughton went to a few games. I went to a few games. Otto drove once from Dortmund all the way to watch AS Roma play, and then to watch Felix. He took pictures with Jose, but those pictures were never brought out. They were with us because we chose not to show the outside, look what we are doing. We actually were building towards the end goal. What do we want? We want to qualify. We don't want to share our day-to-day things with the media, with the fans, because that's not the end goal. The end goal is to qualify. So if we've watched Felix Afenyan, it doesn't mean that I have to tell the world. As long as the technical staff is aware. So how did he play, right? How did he do? How was his body language? How was his movement? What did Jose Mourinho say about him? Unfortunately, Antoine Semenjon did not make it, got injured on the last day. But I spoke to the manager. I wanted to go and watch. Chris Hughton went to Crystal Palace, watched them a few times. We went to watch Leicester, but we never brought it out. So there's a lot of work that were done behind scenes that the public didn't know. Normally we as staff, we set up the warm-up before the boys come out. And when we go almost like an hour before kickoff. And normally when you are out, there's like a quarter of the stadium full. You know, the max you get is 50% full. But in Nigeria, when we walked out, I think there were already 60,000 in the stadium. And I walked in and I was like, wow, tonight we are literally in a lion's cage. And only those that are mentally strong and have calm hearts will be able to play in this arena, because the heat was different, the crowd was bringing more heat, the pitch was good, and the scene was set for big players to perform. I remember going back into the dressing room and I said to the boys, the stadium is already full, so bring your best game to the table and get ready for a high-level match. So that was how they tried to replicate what happened in Kumasi. But the only time we felt a bit under pressure was when the equalizer came. Yeah. Apart from that, I think our players and we as staff were pretty much in control.
Well, the control I think came in the second half, and that was after that bold decision that the technical team took to switch the formation and go 5 at the back, 3 substitutions at halftime. What informed that decision? At what point did you make it, and how did the players take it in the dressing room at that time?
Yeah, I followed all the media comments, and it's brilliant because Otto was instrumental in that decision, I have to say, because Otto, since 1st of February, said when we had the initial meeting, said, okay, the first game we can play 4-3-3. But in the second leg, I want to change it to 3-6-1 or 3-5-1-1. That was already discussed first meeting we had with Otto and Chris and Didi and Richard. So we decided that we'll start with 4-3-3, and then the second leg we'll change it. However, because the players did so well in Kumasi and took on the style and the system and the formation so well, we decided not to change it for now. But it was always in the back of our head. And also in Accra, we did tactical sessions on the 3-5-1-1 or 3-6-1-1 formation. Sorry, I shouldn't forget. It should be actually 1-3-5-1-1. Okay. So we did work on that tactically. We did work on it through the analysis. So we were gradually embedding the idea that we might change it to that formation. So because the players did well at Kumasi in the first leg, we decided to keep it. But in the back of our head, we knew already what we were going to do if things didn't go as planned. If we did not concede the penalty, we would have stuck to the formation. But when we looked at the situation, the Nigerian team was pushing more. And then Otto said, George, Chris, Didi, let's do it. We have only one game. This is it. We won't get another chance. Let's do it. We said, okay. Then we had to move really fast because the remaining players were out doing warm-up. And then the 11 was already inside. So Otto said, George, you take care of the ones outside. Go outside, prepare them, give them the set pieces, the role, the responsibility, make sure they are ready. So we got the names. I said to Didi, okay, Didi, let's sort out the set pieces. So Didi sorted out with me. I quickly ran outside. I informed Kofi, Andy, and
Elisha?
Owusu.
Yeah.
I informed them what they were to do, did quick warm-up with them again, prepare them. And it was really a teamwork because half of the staff, Chris stayed with Otto inside to make sure that the 11 knows what was happening. Me and Didi were on the grass, making sure that the three coming on understand what's happening, which position they are playing, what's their role in the set pieces, for, against. So together we put it together, everybody was on point, we knew it, and we were pretty much, as you saw, in control the whole of second half.
We're still here at the Labadi Beach Hotel with George Boateng, who's the assistant coach of the Black Stars and part of the team that qualified Ghana to its fourth World Cup, which will be in Qatar later this year. And George, still on the conversation, let's look forward now. We've gone past Nigeria. You look at the team, it's still a work in progress. And how would you assess the quality that the team has and what needs to be done to be able to have an impact in Qatar later this year?
Well, first of all, well done to the players. I thought they did really well. The ones that were, it's just not the 11 that started, it's the whole 26 players, including the 4 keepers that were there. Well done, It's going to be tough for any, nothing has been confirmed yet, for any coach, any technical team that comes in, whether we are going to stay on or not, has to remain to be seen. But I'll just speak about if anyone comes in or whether it will be us. I think the reason why I'm saying well done to the players is because we had many challenges, looking at the last few days where the change of scenery, the game was going to be at Cape Coast, then it was taken away from Cape Coast. There were rumors about the game going to be played abroad. That didn't go through. Then we heard the rumor that probably it will be played in Kumasi, which was very good news when the lads heard
Joy,
that.
99.7
Everybody
FM.
was pleased with that news. Then we had the challenges of the hotel because it was really last minute. We had to change hotel again. The players were so well in adapting.
Conversation that Joy Sports or Riku Ampofo had with George Boateng, assistant coach of the Black Stars. Some very key points made over there. he talks about the teamwork. He talks about certain specific measures that were taken in ensuring that the execution was done on the pitch. And, it could only be this way. It could only be done this way.
This is the only way. This is the only way. Football is all about planning. I just told you. Even in some clubs outside there, they have about 5-6 coaches who team up and plan very well for the team.
You were talking about your former club at PSV Eindhoven.
Yeah, I went there. I think 3 years ago. I took one of my boys. That's my Kojo Pokumala. He's doing very well now in the MLS Los Angeles.
I see.
Yeah, they are leading the league.
Yeah.
I think he's also a potential for the nation. Yeah. I'm sure very soon the technical team will scout him, and then you will see something different as well, like Ishaku. He's a very top player. And Ruud van Nistelrooy was under 19 coach at then. Now he's the head coach of PSV Eindhoven. So the game has really changed. In technology, everything, it has changed. They plan very well and they bring you up so that when you are there, you know that, hey, you are secured and still you are ready for the job. And I believe that this is what the FA has done now. I really congratulate the FA and then also the government for, bringing up a very good master tacticians, which are called Three Musketeers. I'm sure they will take us to the promised land. But aside that, we still have a lot of potentials out there. Younger ones that we have to scout them and give them the opportunity. Because even though we have qualified for the World Cup, which is a massive one, we're still looking up there to win the AFCON, which is the key. 33 years, 34, we have not been able crying and yelling all the time for it. And it's only the young ones who will mix up with the dams who can bring the cup next year, June. So I believe that they should open their wings and then bring in a lot of young players. Potentials, I stated, emphasize on it. Potentials. Players who will be looking up to in the coming 4 years or 6 years' time.
Well, still here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Coach Godwin Atram, Fatau Dauda, and Osei Owusu-Bempah doing the analysis. Of course, we just heard a conversation with assistant Black Stars coach George Boateng. Now, I'll be going to Fatau Dauda in a bit to tell us about, the various ways and different approaches used against the different sides. For instance, a game played against Portugal, who between 2014 and now have quite a massive set of very well-endowed players in pretty much every department of the game. Also, he would tell us about, playing a team that is as pacey and as gifted as the North Koreans. They are very, very technical. They are very box-to-box. How do we approach games when we're playing against such? But let me begin again from here in the studio, Coach Atram. We were seeing a trend where at least some three of the teams who have qualified are having, former players and captains and legends of the sides coaching them. So Cameroon has Rigobert Song. He's appeared at the FIFA World Cup with the side. He's won the Africa Cup of Nations. Aliou Cisse, the only player to play and also win, played in the final and won the trophy. Gone to the World Cup with Senegal as well, and now qualified as coach. Otto Addo setting a record as the only player and coach to book the World Cup qualification ticket. What advantage do teams get when they have persons as Rigobert Song, Otto Addo, and Aliou Cisse leading the charge?
Personalities. Because the team or the players, they really need this kind of people to lead them. Because, players, let me say legends who have been in the game for years, the coaching that they do is not a book one. It's different. It's not about doing the courses, but it's creativity. The things that you have gone through several years, in decade. These are the things that you will use to coach. So whenever you read a game, immediately the game is going on and you read it, you know what to do. Exactly. So I believe that is the trend now. You are seeing it in Europe, that who is the best coach now in the world, you will say is Guardiola. And
It's because he's played the
yeah,
game.
he's played the
for
game.
years.
Zidane, you know, Simone, you know, you all these names. So this is the trend now. Whether we like it or not, this is the way the thing should be run. This is the way it should go.
You raise a very interesting point, and I'm going to come to Fatau Dauda in a bit on that subject. This bit where the experience that these players get is what gets them to actually perform as coaches. I remember once I spent about 4 to 5 hours watching our goalkeeper's trainer, Richard Kingston, at his private residence here in Accra. And for every single scenario that he was taking his goalkeepers through, he would refer to a real life scenario, competition specific, you know, so it could be the World Cup, it could have been a Nations Cup,
Exactly.
it could have been a friendly game, and he'll refer to it, tell them what exactly he did, and the reason why you're probably supposed to jump 2 steps before, you know, you get to the ball and all of that. So what you say is very key on that one.
Very, very important, my brother. I quite remember when Richard said about Wallacott that he's going to be a very good goalkeeper like
Many people
like
doubted
Fatau and him and then Samir J and them. Everyone doubted.
Yeah.
But believe me, he's the one who took us to the World Cup.
Yeah.
It was glaring in the game. It saved the situations that Nigeria goalkeeper couldn't save. So please, we need to understand certain things. The trend now is about the legends. Is that except the ones who can't be coaches. And they themselves, they know that they can't be coaches. But the ones who are in the game and when they were playing, they act on the pitch like a coaches. Believe me, if they have the opportunity, they will prove to the whole world that, hey, I'm ready to do the job.
Ready to do the job indeed. And that brings me to the man, Fatau Dauda. Fatau, what kind of approach would you expect the current Black Stars team to use when they're playing, you know, for instance, a Portugal who have an arrowhead in Cristiano Ronaldo, a man who at his age is still very, very hungry for success. He's won the Euros with Portugal. He's won the UEFA Championship. He's won the Club World Cup. He's won every other trophy there is to win but the FIFA World Cup and is bent on doing that. And so how would you advise, you know, a defensive mechanism that is woven around an Alexander Jiku and an Daniel Amate and the like to handle the firepower that we have in the Bruno Fernandes and, you know, a Cristiano Ronaldo leading the setup for a Portugal side?
Thanks, bro. I think Platini Acham said it earlier on. The technical team, the Blasters had this 3 or 4 intelligent people who are behind the boys. I think from yesterday they will start preparation. Definitely, these boys are going to play against intelligent players who are playing top clubs in the world. Most of our boys are playing also outside, but in book, we know Portugal, they have big guys, Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, and other guys they are playing. So I know for sure it will even be easier for Otoado and his technical members to even monitor these players more than how they can monitor our players in Europe. And they will mount strategy against these guys. I think in this situation, roles and tactics will be key because the coaches, Coach Boateng said it, how they were meeting, doing Zoom meeting, testing, just to get a strategy against the Nigerians, and they succeeded. Definitely, that's how they will do and succeed against Portugal, against Korea, against each country that they will play against. They will read the situation. They will know how they will put, and then player to player, all departments from the goalkeeping department, the defense, the movement, and the attack. What I remember last 8 years as the 2014 World Cup, when we saw our group, the video analysis and the coach, they decided that they sent programs for the all departments. They sent the goalkeeping that we had our own. So we started working when we went to camp. We started working towards it. So I think this is what they will do. Preparation must start very early. The coaching, the medical staff, Even I think they should have a sports scientist and psychologist, which will be very important in this tournament. Because sometimes you need to sack the boys, although you need to sack yourself, but you need somebody who can sack you. As Atram said, it's about legends. Usually, Olele being there as a goalkeeper trainer, it's a motivation for the goalkeepers. He has seen it all. He has played the World Cup, and then now he's a coach. So definitely he will inspire you to play well. And then we have Otaro, who has also played the World Cup, and then other guys. So I think early preparation and then tactical approach and how the players will respond will be good for us. Sometimes the coaches can teach how the players will take it and perform on the field of play. That's the problem. So I think this time we need players who are more clever in such a way that they can take or they can listen to what the coaches will give them to go and do, as they did in Nigeria. But we also saw the changes Otto did just at the start of the second half was tactical something, and we saw what happened. So I think football is like that, especially going to this stage of the competition. It's very high. You're going to meet intelligent players, so you need to be intelligent and clever.
Now, let's also look at the scenario here. For very obvious reasons, everybody is focusing on, Portugal and on Uruguay. However, South Korea could end up becoming the Black Stars' most difficult game at the FIFA World Cup. Do we agree to that?
We do.
Yes, of course. It's possible. And I agree with you. And I agree with that. Because of what I've experienced in football. Or because of what I've seen during the AFCON. What Comoros did to us. So we shouldn't underestimate any country in this our group. To just focus, take it match by match. The reason why people are focusing on Portugal and Uruguay because of what happened in the previous tournament. But forgetting that we, the same country, beat South Korea in a pre-World Cup warm-up-friendly match. So we don't have easy countries in our group. We should just focus on match after match and make sure we just go through the group.
All right, remember you can send in your messages as well. It's +233 55 11 11 997. +233 55 11 11 997. Let's now get to Owusu Bempah, the seasoned analyst. There's been a lot of talk about the facts, the figures, and what could possibly repeat itself and what could not happen. Now, on paper, how realistic does it look to get a win, for instance, against a Uruguay side or a South Korean side on paper, with the way things are now? And of course, I would want you to put into consideration all the factors, especially those ones away from form, because the last set of matches have taught us a big lesson about relative form and how it can sometimes disappoint you.
Well, let me start from South Korea. Traditionally, Ghanaian teams, the juvenile teams, the senior teams, and the youth teams have kind of struggled playing, especially Japan and South Korea. Yes. If you remember, in 2004, during the Olympic Games, it was Japan that actually took Ghana out. That was the team that everybody thought Ghana could easily beat and qualify for the second round of the Olympic Games. But unfortunately, that was the team that beat Ghana after, I think, we drawn with Italy and stuff. So South Korea will not come to. Statistically, we played them competitively, I think, 6 times. We played them 8 times. They've won 3, we have won 3. They've scored 8 goals against us. We scored 8 goals against them. We are evenly matched. Dauda was referring to the 4-0 victory. I think that was a try game. And it doesn't matter whether it's a try game or whatever. Anyway. But the point is that if you are playing in a group of this nature, you don't underrate any team. Neither do you overrate any team either. That is one thing that I want to emphasize. We don't have to think that Portugal have been Portugal and therefore they are not beat up. We don't have to think that Uruguay, traditional South American powerhouse, Uruguay and therefore they cannot be beaten. Suarez of 10 years ago is not the same Suarez, of 12 years ago actually, it's not the same Suarez that we've seen. He hardly plays 90 minutes even at the club level. Edison Cavani, Muslera, and co are not the same players that we saw. Fortunately, I just want to go back to something that Trump said, which is very, very important. And I'm sure Godwin Atram talks about it on the basis of the fact that he is a development-minded coach. We should look at the current team that we have in terms of 2026 Mexico USA 2026 World Cup. Majority of us, some few of the players will not be there. A lot of them will be there. For example, the other players that we're trying to persuade to join the team. On the basis of what are we trying to persuade some of them? Because of age being on their side. Atram made a very important point that we should scout very well potentially good players. Potentially. And I think he emphasized that word very strongly. That we should look at, if we are thinking of getting the finished article, we are looking at 2026. This World Cup is not going to be a do or die, or die be die, whatever it is affair. We are going in with the hope that, yes, we have a potentially very good team. Let's start giving them the exposure at a very early age. I mean, if you look at somebody like Afenya Jan, surprisingly for a player of his age and experience to play 90 minutes, not against Togo home and away, but against Super Eagles Nigeria. And look at how well he performed. Idris Ubaba, fantastic. And then the old right back, Dennis Odoe, fantastic. So gradually, some of these players probably may not be available the next 4 years or beyond the next couple of years. But I think that realistically, if we do our homework very well, just as the two superstars have said, we can do a lot at the World Cup. We don't have to underrate any team, neither do we have to overrate any team. I'm sure that with good preparation, as I said, we can do a lot. I'm hoping that we'll learn from the experience of 2014, not to get to the World Cup and then the issues that Dauda was talking about that he didn't want to mention for obvious reasons. We wouldn't go through such situation. I mean, going back to what Dauda said, in 2014, indeed, if you were in the frame of mind that we were in when we played Serbia, Australia, and other teams in South Africa, if you went into the game against Portugal with that spirit, without the field incident and of the field issues distracting that, I doubt if Portugal could have beaten Ghana. Remember, in that tournament, Ghana is the only team that Germany could not beat. Ghana was the only team that Germany could not beat. They beat Brazil 7 goals by 7 goals. But they couldn't beat Ghana at the group stage after we rediscovered that. After, even course of in the midst of all these challenges, Germany couldn't beat Ghana. At a certain point in time, we were ahead of them, 2-1. Then they crawl back to draw against Ghana. So I'm sure that we have what it takes to play them. We've played Uruguay at the 17 or 20, and I think the Olympic Games level. They are no different from what we do. They are traditionally the typical South American team with skills and flair. They've added some bit of European touch to their game. Fortunately, most of our players that are also going into this tournament, most likely are players who have also got a European mentality and approach to the game. And I don't think there will be anything different from us. We need to take our chances. Gordon Atram said that football, you can train for 90 minutes, you can train for 2 months, 2 years, or whatever it is. 90 minutes decide what the outcome will be. And I'm sure that we have what it takes to be able to manage. So going through the group stage, I wouldn't think that, even though it's a question which has come 8 months a bit early, I doubt if Ghana will not make it to the second round.
Mm. So for you, realistically, Ghana can make it to the second round of the competition?
Yeah. Absolutely. We can make it through. I've seen most of the groups. If you look at, say, Group A, Qatar, Ecuador, I'm looking at Senegal, for example. There's nothing that prevents Senegal from making it through the group, if you look at the groups in which they find themselves. In Group B, that is the group I call the United Nations group. The United Nations peacekeeping group, because we have Iran playing in the midst of USA and England. If you remember what happened in 1998 when Iran played US at the World Cup in France, Iran won the game 2-1, and that game was specially scheduled for the World Peace Day by the United Nations. It was dubbed the mother of all games. It was also referred to as the most politically charged game in the history of the World Cup. After the game, because the Iranians were playing something more than football when they came back against US. I remember the Iranian supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, making a point that was read on Iranian television that at long last, an arrogant opponent has suffered the bitter taste of defeat, and be proud that you've been able to defeat an opponent in the nature of the United States and stuff like that. So it's going to be more of a political game. The Iranians have The same issue with the British, for example, not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago, a British Iranian was taken hostage, literally, held captive for 6 years after the Iranians thought that they had been hard done by the British. They had to pay over 480 million pounds to get this woman, Radcliffe Zaghari, released. It's going to be very politically charged. Look at Argentina, Saudi, Mexico, and Poland. Poland are in a very good group, and I'm sure Argentina, traditional powerhouse in the league. So I'm just going on and on with some of these things, but I think that realistically, Ghana has a bright chance of making it through this group. I have no doubt in my mind at all.
Coach Atram, the talk about the psychological aspect of the game comes in very handy. Once again, we'll refer to Ghana versus Portugal in Brazil because personally, I believe that it was a very unnecessary loss we suffered. Fatau Dauda has alluded to some of the things that happened in the background, which obviously he couldn't talk about on air. How much psychology would you employ in games like these, especially those which we're looking to stage revenge on?
Well, I think Fatau said something about it, that the game is psychological, and it's true that the game is psychological. The fact that we want to revenge the back years tournament that we play against them that they won, we have to be meaningful of what we are going to do. Especially our back line, the middle line, and the attacking line. All the departments, we have to be very solid over it there. And I won't forget about, always I mention about the tactics. The game is all about tactics. And in this modern football, like before when we were playing, the video analysis has always been there. That's why I've been mentioning about the coaches, the legends who are playing now. They have already seen all those things now that have been coming now. So, for instance, a player like Cristiano Ronaldo, you watch the video very well, and you can tell wherever he's going to stand and shoot when it's a free kick, how he's going to dribble. If I'm marking Cristiano Ronaldo, I know how he dribbles. He parted the leg 1-2 and take the ball left and shoot, or come to the right and shoot. So how are you going to block all this? And I'm sure we have the technicians who are there are going to rectify certain things very well, sack the boys very well. Like we are saying that we have to bring in a psychologist to, but the coaching itself is also a psychologist. It's psychology. The mental toughness and the character on the pitch gives you the results always. You can't go to the pitch and say that I'm playing against Cristiano Ronaldo, so I'm going to win. No, you want to do something, and that's the character on the pitch. So on the day of the match, the way we are going to approach the game psychologically and determine very well with commitment and discipline on the pitch, that's what will bring the results. And I believe that Ghana will be true 100%, like what he's saying. Because Uruguay, they play the same football like Ghana. Uruguay, they play the same football like Ghana. It's Korea and Portugal who play mostly on flanks and then center the ball for crosses. So what are we going to do by blocking all those places? It depends on the coaches, on what they are going to do. And I believe that they are capable of bringing in a good planning for all those countries to win some points in the tournament.
Well, in a bit, we'll be taking your phone calls and we'll be taking your views as well. But right now, would want to throw a bit of focus on the draw that was held yesterday. Look quickly, do a quick 360 turn around, the groups and what we expect to happen, based on, on recent happenings and recent competition and recent form as well. So, yeah, Usman, but you spoke about you already spoke about Group A: Qatar, the hosts, Ecuador, Senegal, and the Netherlands. Now, obviously, Coach Atram is very familiar with football in the Netherlands because of his early days. Now, you go to Group B, which has England, the Islamic Republic of Iran, USA, and one team that will have the Euro playoffs. And of course, there are indications that Italy could have a very, very tiny, slim window of possibly making it again. Sorry. So England, Iran, USA in Group B. Pretty interesting group, isn't it? Yeah, can you kindly unmute?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes, very interesting group because of the geopolitical nature,
very well.
the geopolitical nature of the group. Iran, prior state against England, and USA. By
Yeah.
far, they are most sworn worst enemies. Yes, and therefore
Politically.
that's going to be it's going to be very interesting having these two teams in addition to Iran in the group. I mean, on paper, you probably think that it's going to be USA and England. But the last time Iran met US at the World Cup in 1998, Iran actually won by 2-1. Those were the days of the great Ali Daei and stuff. And therefore, only time will tell. US seems to have a very good team. Pulisic and Co are still playing very, very well. But who knows? But I'm sure England will certainly make it. I will give US the second slot.
Okay, so we go to Group C. Now, Group C has Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. So there's a South American war which will be activated in there. A Poland that is, that will hopefully be led by Robert Lewandowski. And yes.
Another good, very interesting group. I will stand out Argentina for now, and then maybe give Poland the second slot. Mexico,
and before you go on, there's also talk about the Messi effect. How he hasn't really come to the party at Paris Saint-Germain. Since he went in there, and the talk about how he's gradually getting into the twilight of what has been a sterling career for him as well. The World Cup remains the only trophy he hasn't won.
That's going to be very, very difficult for him to win. I've seen that the last time Argentina played at home, few of the players have literally given indication that the World Cup is going to be the end of their international careers. Di Maria, for example, clearly stated that the game that they played, I think the last game that they played in Buenos Aires was actually going to be his last game at home for the Argentine team. It means that after the World Cup, most likely he's retiring from international football. Messi, I don't think we'll see him exactly the same way we saw him in 2010 or 2014. Obviously, age is a factor, few injuries, and naturally loss of form has also affected him. I don't think Argentina will rely so much on him in this competition. But traditionally, there's a tournament team, Argentina, and it will be very difficult for anybody to assume at this stage that they cannot make it through. Of course, the times have happened where big teams, Germany, for example, at the last World Cup, couldn't make it through the stage, if I could remember correctly. So it's going to be very difficult. But on paper, it looks like Argentina and Poland. Poland seems to be on the rise. Mexico, since the collapse of their, quote unquote, the collapse of their dream team, it doesn't seem to me they have been on the ascendancy for some time now. I'm sure they are looking at the next World Cup 2026, which they are going to co-host with America, the United States, and I'm sure at that time. So if they will bring any team, for example, the Mexicans, to this tournament, it's a team that they are looking at getting very good results on coming 2026 when they will be host. I don't think they want to throw everything in this tournament and then embarrass themselves the way Brazil did when they get a chance to host in 4 years to come.
In Group D, you have an interesting story that we're telling, because Denmark are in there, Tunisia are in there, and France, the defending champions, are in there as well. Now, France, after the 1998 success, went ahead to win the next Euro tournament. Now, this time, they went into Russia, won the World Cup, and were unsuccessful at winning the Euro tournament. That sure will be a heavy burden. But what's the look and feel of the French team like? Do they have that kind of bite that could see them, get everybody off, including whoever is going to qualify from the last playoff?
Yeah, for a team which has won 2 World Cups, 2 European Cups the last 20 years, you cannot write them off. It's interesting to know that in the 2 previous successes of France, that's 1998 and 2018, in the group stage, they were in the same group with them, and they won in both cases. I'm very sure that what France has what it takes. I'm sure they must have learned from the experience of Euro 2000, the last European Championship. And I'm sure based on that, they still have a very young team. Few of the players have aged, and I don't think they rely so much on them. But even the very old ones, the quite old ones, the N'Golo Kantes and stuff, at least can stay for the next 10 months or 8 to be able to give up their best for the French national team. Mbappe and co are still very young, and I'm sure that they will be a force to reckon with in the group. I don't know who is going to play the European or whatever playoff, but it looks like it probably should be Denmark and France going through. I doubt if Tunisia has what it takes to be able to last in this tournament. They are not a team, just like Morocco, which have represented Africa and done very, very well in competitions of this nature, neither the Olympic Games nor the World Cup. And I don't expect anything different from the Tunisians this time.
All right, let's get into Group E. The 2010 winners, Spain, are in there. Germany, who won it in 2014, and Japan, who co-hosted with Korea in 2002.
Tough group. On paper, you look at Germany and Spain. I hope the two don't flatter to deceive. The Japanese can also pull a first one in there. But on paper, I think Spain and Germany will be likely seen as the favorites to go through to the second round of the competition.
Now, I always talk about Belgium, and Belgium are gradually becoming like their European neighbors, the Netherlands, who at a certain point had what was the best team that had not won the FIFA World Cup. So Belgium, having the likes of Henry and his Italian technical head, going up against Canada, Morocco, and Croatia, the runners-up from the last competition.
Yeah, I mean, Croatia will always be a team to beat in any competition. Remember when they first made it to their first World Cup in 1988? That's following the collapse and the so many. Croatia did everything could have Yugoslavia had at the time. And anytime they've come to the World Cup, they're always there to perform. The first World Cup, 1998, semi-finalists. It took almighty France semi-finals to beat them. The last World Cup, we saw how they performed. And most likely, I've seen a couple of games that they played in the qualifiers. With the Modric's and stuff around, I think that they will be a team to beat in the group. Belgium, number one rated side on paper by FIFA. The two of them, I'm sure, will surely make it through. Canada, coming in after almost 30 years of not being present at the World Cup, I doubt if they can make any impression. Neither do I also think Morocco can also make any impression. I'll give it to Belgium and Croatia. But remember that, as I say, we are talking 8 months earlier.
Well, 8 months earlier, indeed. And then you go to Group G, the most successful team at the FIFA World Cup, Brazil, who have never missed a tournament since its inception. And they come up against Serbia, Switzerland, and our very own Cameroon.
Yeah, it's the third time they're going in the group of Cameroon, 1994, 2014. And this time, I don't think the Cameroonians seem to very much rely on strength and energy playing in the World Cup. They've not won a World Cup game over the last 20 years, Cameroon. They've not done anything significant since 1994. Since 1990, actually. 1994 was disaster, 98 was almost worse and stuff. I don't think Cameroon has what it takes to probably make it through this group. If you consider the fact that they're in a group of Brazil, Serbia, and even Switzerland. Switzerland are playing really, really well, and it will be difficult between them and even Serbia to see who is likely to qualify alongside Brazil. But I'm sure, as everybody knows, in a pole position to qualify from the group. And then Serbia and Switzerland may fancy their chances. All 3 games. If it happens so, any team that is able to win 1 game and draw another, making 4 points, will be able to make it through Brazil. And that will look like between Serbia and Switzerland. But between the two, I'll probably pick Serbia slightly ahead of Switzerland going into the group stage, going to the second round.
Interesting stuff there. Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. Very, very difficult group indeed. Of course, we've spoken very heavily about Ghana in Group H, Ghana, Uruguay, Korea, and Portugal. So if we had to be pushed, you know, not necessarily on the sentimental scale. Who do we give it to in Group H?
It's going to be very difficult. I say this because Ghana's performance in this tournament will most likely depend on how well we organize ourselves in defense and midfield. It's not a tournament where I think our attacking power can get us a lot of results. If we're able to play the way we did against Nigeria, with very solid midfield and very good defense, we can fancy our chances very, very, very much. This morning, I was talking to a former British diplomat who was at the UK High Commission in Ghana years ago. I was chatting with him on WhatsApp. He is now retired and based in London. And he was actually very optimistic that Ghana may end up a bit of it. And I wouldn't doubt him so much because, you see, our team does not have the Samoejans and the Sules and the attacking powers that we had in the previous tournament. This time, we are going to rely very much on our midfield and our defense. And you know that defense normally wins tournament. Attacking makes tournament very interesting. And I'm very sure that with the kind of Portugal, I don't think they have that very solid defense either. Neither do I think Uruguay also has it. If we're able to stay very strong mentally and physically, I think that Ghana will certainly make it through. As to who goes with Ghana between Portugal and Uruguay, I cannot be very certain. But I think Portugal may probably have a bit of edge over Uruguay. The Uruguayans don't seem to have very good defense either. And I'm sure that the attack probably will not be there as much as they think they should. They are playing with attackers, three of whom combined age will be about 140 years. And I doubt if 120 years, sorry. And I doubt if they will be enough, they'll have enough energy to be able to cope with the stresses and the energy that this tournament actually requires.
Still here on the Joy Sports Link. In a bit, we'll be asking for you to call and articulate your thoughts as well on Ghana's group, which is being described as a very tough one indeed. William Asari has sent me this message. Hi, Nat. Most foreign media claim that Group H is the group of death. Now, they place Ghana as the least team to qualify. However, I think Ghana will top the group, and these are my reasons. 1, the potency of Portugal and Uruguay is nothing to write home about, looking at their qualification matches. 2, our team will peak at the right time. And 3, we have a case against Portugal and a revenge story against Uruguay. The two teams will come out of the Group H, and that will be Ghana and South Korea. Mark it. Okay, William Asari, my brother. So he stuck his neck out and he says that Ghana and South Korea will come out of Group H. Very, very interesting thoughts indeed. So you send us your messages and send us your thoughts as well on this particular one, whether you also believe that it could happen that way. Godwin, what are your thoughts on that one?
Well, that is his opinion. And I think that if you emphasize these certain things very well, talking about the revenge and also the psychological aspect that we are talking about, he's a Ghanaian. So you have to say that Ghana will qualify for sure. You can't say that Ghana.
So where would you place it? He says South Korea.
On paper, we said it, that on paper is really looking like Portugal, number 1, and then the 3-1 will join. But I'm a Ghanaian, so I'll say that Ghana will Portugal definitely qualify. The game, it's harmonical, up and down. Defending very well, you definitely have the results. Definitely. So this is where we have to mount up our plans on very well. And I'm sure our technical men, they really do know about it. If we defend very well, we will have a result. And definitely, we go out from the group by qualifying.
Well, definitely we should go out of the group. The words of Coach Godwin Atram here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, let's get on WhatsApp and see what the trends are and what you are saying, on our WhatsApp page as well. It's 055-11-11997. Okay, this one is from Guy Fox in Tema. Good afternoon, Nathaniel. This is just to say a massive congrats to the Black Stars and their coaches for the successful outing over the 2 legs to qualify for the World Cup. Big ups to all of us, the G8 folks. And I must say, the love is back for the Black Stars. Now to Qatar. Let's prepare well and make sure we have the best players in every position for the competition. Thank you very much, Guy Fox in Tema. It's been a while. Good to hear from you. Now, there's this other one that is coming from Samuel, who's listening from Germany. He says, Ghana should prepare well for the World Cup and forget about going in for revenge against Uruguay. All we need is peace in camp and good preparation. Also, the technical men on the bench should be paid their salaries on time to help them to deliver. Charles Akuna was not paid for over 6 months, which was quite ridiculous. Which serious national football team does that? Samuel in Germany. And also, he says that if Otto Addo decides to coach the Stars, then the GFA and the Sports Ministry should treat Otto Addo and his backroom staff well. Otto Addo has job security in Germany, specifically at Dortmund, where he's paid on time. I expect the GFA to do same to paint a good image. Samuel in Germany, where Otto Addo is based. And he's made a very brilliant point about the way we treat our national team coaches. I'm not sure you'd want to talk about your terms here, but you know, this is a very serious issue that we've been going on and on about.
Very important. It's a very important key issue that he has really stated.
William in Shukura says, good afternoon, Nathaniel. I don't think Ghana can qualify in this group. Okay, William from Shukura, can you tell me what your reasons are? You know, let's get some of your reasons. I mean, William sent me a message and he stated what his reasons were for that. Okay, so from Virginia, USA, Kojo Amos says, we are in a normal group. Now, each team can qualify to the next stage. Ghana shouldn't underestimate South Korea, and we shouldn't be too emotional about taking revenge on Uruguay, since it could be a banana peel to our progress to the next round. Portugal is beatable, and our West should be a draw. Kojo Amo in Virginia, USA, thank you very much for that message. Let's do some more here on the text consoles. This is from Kobe in Teshi. Good afternoon, sir. Please ask them for me. If the goalkeeper we have is the best, do they think that we have a local goalkeeper in our Premier League who is better than him? Again, in our Premier League, don't we have a striker who can fit into the current Black Star squad? Don't they think we need Sule Muntari back in the Star squad? Okay, thank you very much, Kobe in Teshi. And this is a question I'm going to pose to Coach Godwin Atram here. He played in the Ghana Premier League, left Ghana, went to play professional football in Europe, and came back to contribute and has played in almost all the national teams as well. So we'll be asking him that question. Now, Shem Mixon Yeboah says, good day, Nat. As it stands, we require world-class strikers with proven records and also some older players to be part of the team for Qatar. Sule Muntari, Kevin Prince Boateng, Asamoah Gyan should be included ASAP. We can and we should do this and bring back the love. This notwithstanding, we should lower our expectations so that we can appreciate every group stage match. Group H is perfect for Ghana. Thank you very much, Shem Mixon Yeboah, for that message. Some more messages here to share with you on 055 1111997. Okay. Now, Citizen Sika Togo from East Legon says, I believe the bigger job is for the FA to get a solid technical team and scout more committed and talented players to add to the heroes of these two matches, as well as adequate preparations for the Mundial later this year. We have the quality materials to come out of this group. Citizen Sika Togo, thank you very much for that message. We're grateful for it. This one is from Kofi Nkaswa. He says, the final Black Star selection to the World Cup must not be based on sentiments and who said what in the past. Every country goes into the World Cup with its best players, not solely based on the players that played in the final qualifiers to the World Cup. Any player in top form playing regular football at club level must be given the chance. Kofi in Kaswa sent that message. Kofi, grateful to you for that message. Now, some more. Babs in Abilingpi says, good afternoon, Nathaniel. Right now, we are building a formidable team for the last two matches played against Nigeria, and one can say that the players know themselves very well, especially in the defense. If we change this team to Qatar, it will be a disaster, and those who want to play for Ghana now that we have qualified should wait till after the World Cup. Thank you very much for that message. Okay, some more messages on our WhatsApp console. Good afternoon, Nathaniel, and thanks for your show. I'm so surprised of the recent comments of some Ghanaian players who play abroad and had been invited or spoken to before to play for the Black Stars, but blatantly refused for various flimsy, untenable excuses, and now wanting to play for Ghana because we have qualified for Qatar 2022. Nat, I bet with my heart we know these players but won't mention their names. However, any invitation or consideration given to these players, some of us will go naked on demonstration in this country. When we needed them most for the AFCON, they turned their back on the country, and now they want to use the World Cup to back at themselves. Days of monkey they work, baboon they chop is over. Okay, and he says, hashtag we are watching with eagle eyes. This is from Dr. Fish in Sakaman. Dr. Fish, your message has been read out loud and clear. Thank you very much, Dr. Fish. Okay, so J Mystic says, Mr. Nat, good day with the team, and with regards to the Black Stars of the GFA, they must build capacity and strategy before November. Winning the World Cup is possible, and everything is possible under the sun. The players we have to really consider is very important. The Williams family in Bilbao, Spain, Tariq Lamte Hudson-Odoi. The GFA must find at all costs to bring the Williams family. They will take us far. Okay. Iñaki Williams plays for the Spanish national team. Is he? Does he? Okay. Iñaki is in Spain. Athletic Bilbao, of course. So Iñaki also has been quoted. I was reading a few quotes assigned to him, and he's talking about how he loves the food, he loves the atmosphere here in Ghana, you know. And once again, you'd ask yourself, okay, so these ones. Okay, so let's go to this message. Sony in Magna Terrace Estate. Now, not if we think of revenge, we may come home not making it out of our group. Don't forget that Portugal has quality players, and now we may be laughing at the wrong side of our mouth when we think Ronaldo is growing old. By the way, which of our players on the field would attract attention more than the old or aging Ronaldo? What happens to others and young players when their new coach, who all of a sudden was brought? Okay, what happens to the other young players and their new coach, who all of a sudden have brought the new winning spirit into the Portuguese team? Let it not be said by our president to be overly ambitious. Okay, thank you very much for your message. Very well understood. Okay, good afternoon, Nat and the Joy Sports team. Please, I suggest Ghana versus Russia or Japan should be one of our international friendly matches. Ghana versus Russia, I'm not sure can happen because of international sanctions across board, you know, because of the war against Ukraine. So Ghana versus Russia will not be a possibility. Ghana versus Japan could be possible. Ghana is playing, Asian opposition as well, so it is very possible that that can happen. 055 1111997, 055 1111997. Interesting, suggestions are coming in. Yeah,
all opinions matters when it gets to this stage, but the final decision always depends on the capacity man. That's the coaches. Everyone can chip in his opinion, suggest whatever it is, but believe me, the final decision comes from the coaches. We're talking about the old players. Sule playing the league, which is very, very good. Is really bringing back to society, and then also helping the young ones to learn a lot in the game. I was really happy when he decided to play the league. And why not? If he could make up to the team, why not? It's okay. But all depends on the coaches. So I believe that the coaches know the best, and they are the ones who are going to select the players for the tournament. So I believe that the only thing he must do is that he's working very hard. He must keep on to work, because the databases is what we use now to select players. So if they are saying that, his weight is down and he can run this kind of distance on the pitch, why not? They will be very grateful to use the legend who can bring them results.
Mr. Ernest Thompson is a long-time secretary of Accra Hearts of Oak, Ghana's oldest football club. Now, he's played various roles within the Ghana FA as well, adding to, administrative work over the years. Now, he sent this message, and it reads, "Personally, this is why I like strong coaches like Milo, Avram Grant, Joseph Tukwefio, Osam Dodu, and Afrani. They will tell you the decision on who to invite and who will play is their sole decision, so everyone should back off. They will have their discussion with the players whose calls are controversial and their respective agents as well. These types of discussions are held behind closed doors. The technical team, the technical director, should rather take a look at the local league now and pencil down some players for the technical team to take a look at, including their videos. Let's leave certain issues to the technical team, who will meet the management committee on the final choices. Handling players is equally a very difficult job." And this is coming from Mr. Ernest Thompson, former Director General of SNET and former board secretary to Accra Hearts of Oak. Well,
They all coaches.
yes.
They all coaches.
Yeah.
Coach Afrani, and that is what
Very well.
Mr. Ernest Thompson mentioned. That's true.
Yeah.
And that's what I've told you, that those who have passed through, that's why you need legends. So we have learned out from these coaches. The coaches us, and I'm very sure that Otto and Didi Dramani and Boateng and the youth, I don't think management can impose on them to call a player. They would like to invite the players by themselves. So I'm very sure that they are going to do a good job by doing that.
Okay. Let's do a few more of the messages. But remember, you can get through to us and articulate your thoughts as well on the subject. The Black Stars and handling Group H at the World Cup at Qatar in November and December. 0302 216541 and 05511119997. 0302 216541 and 05511119997. All right, there was a conversation about the league and how how we should have equally good players, for instance, in attack. What do you make of those suggestions in attack and in goalkeeping, for instance?
Talking about Ghana.
Yes, in the Ghana Premier League currently. Because the texter was comparing, Jojo Wallacott to possibly anybody that they can find in the Ghana Premier League.
Our local boys, they have to be good listeners. That's all. Because sometimes I feel that I've coached Division 2, Division 1, and also Premier League. And our problem here is all about the listening. The players refuse to listen. We must understand certain things, and we must change the culture. I mean, the way the football is happening here. Things have changed everywhere in the world. Why are we still doing the same things? Officiating, there are so many things that we have to change for the boys to learn. And if we refuse to do those things, it will be difficult for local players to be called to the national team to play. It's not easy. Just recently, a lot of them were invited, even in these qualifying matches in South Africa. Fatah was there. That's about what happened in the game. And I don't blame the players. I blame what is happening in the system. So we have to change our ways in the system that we are doing football. And football is all about you organizing yourself very well administratively, technically, and motivation-wise for the players to go and play football and win, not the back issues that we say. We have a way saying ways and means to win a match. We don't have ways and means to win a match in the foreign land. We have ways and means to win on the pitch. Train the players well, organize things very well. They go out there and perform. We don't wait for officiating to give us penalty or give the players certain things to go and win. With that, believe me, it will tend to be like before, that local players are always contesting with the professionals in the Black Star zone or even under 23 zone. So I believe that these are the things that we need to change at all. And it depends on all Ghanaians. It's not only about the GFA. Because if you are, for instance, you are a fan of Chelsea or Kotoko or wherever, and they come there to play your matches, you must understand that if your team doesn't perform, they will lose the game. And by not supporting from officiating or anywhere for the players not to play football and win, with that, we are deceiving the players. And they will get to a time that they need a call up to blast out or certain things, and they will not. If a professional coach comes on ground and he comes to the stadium and watch these kind of things, he won't tell me that they should invite certain players if they are not, doing a good thing on the pitch. So we have to change certain things that we have been doing in football. And believe me, we have the talents. We have the talents. The way we are handling things are the problems. We have the talents who can stand in the shoes. Where are the players coming from before they go to the Premier, to professionals? Are they coming? Are they not coming from here? So why do they go there and they become better and better and better? And if they are here, they are going down and going down and going down. Why? So you need to understand that the mentality and certain things has to be changed in this country, especially when it comes to football. A whole president celebrating, singing, Ghana, Ghana, for qualifying to the World Cup. So you have to understand that football is a whole trend. It's an entertaining thing. It gives you joy. It gives you everything. So why can't we help all of us to bring the football to a different level like the others are doing? This is the only question and the problem to our football in this country. So if people are talking about the local must be invited to Blaster, sure, local must be invited to Blaster. But what are we doing for the locals to be invited to Blaster? The game itself is not okay. The game itself is not okay, and all is coming not from players or something, but it's people who are behind. They say, "Me ko ball, me na me ball home." And they say, "Me winning at all costs." And this who perform more, who be winning. If you are not performing, you have to lose. So you understand? With that, new players, no almost they will learn, and they will become like the players who are outside playing mentally. Mentally, you know, me say bono, me ko bono, and yes, a referee baby you are mommy, but I have to play and win. So with that, you know, I will learn. And I will listen to the coach also.
Yeah. Now, in wrapping up this conversation, I want you to, I want you to tell me about the kind of impression Otto Addo has made on you in these past months. His body language, his processes, his pronouncements, and how we see him relate with the players, you know, on the pitch. And the fact that he is always quick to share the credit with the likes of C.K. Akono and Coach Milovan Rajvac, who were vilified for various reasons.
Well, thank you very much. I'm particularly happy by the last statement that you made. The fact that he was willing to, and he actually demonstrated glorifying Milovan and CK for the job that they did. Remember, the World Cup qualification began with the group stage, and then it got to the Super 10 where we had to qualify. He came in just to finish up. It's just like we were going through a relay. 3 legs had been run, and he needed to just anchor to finish, and that's exactly what he did. It was nice and proper that he did the way he spoke, the way he did. And I'm hoping that he will continue to do so. And also appreciate the inputs of his technical team. I've listened to him a couple of times, the inputs and whatever each and everyone brought on board. Didi, George, Kingston, and whoever, all those guys at the back also did. And of course, he didn't also forget about the fans and the contributions of the FA and everybody. I'm sure that if people were of the opinion that maybe the FA were manipulating issues with Milo and CK in terms of player selection, assuming without admitting that that was true, I'm sure they were actually doing so. And it's the reason why I want to just make a little bit of comment on what Mr. Ernest Thompson said, that we should leave those selection of players purely to the coaches and then allow them to make decisions. And in doing so, I will hope that the coaches, you see, I've listened to a comment by a management committee member of the Blasters, Alaji Gusa, who has virtually indicated that we should slam the doors on the player like Salisu, for example. Otto Addo, on the contrary, has been quoted as saying that they will need him if he was available. Let's leave those decisions to the technical men. Let's not management committee members, FA, politicians, and staff get involved. But in doing so, I will suggest to the technical team that, fortunately, the African Cup of Nations 2023 tournament, the qualification started on the 23rd of March. So far, they've completed the preliminary stages. The competition qualification games, the last game we played on the 27th of September 2022, this year, 27th of September, which is about almost 2 months before the end of the tournament. At least that gives us opportunity for us to know and indicate who is ready to play for the Blasters at the World Cup. We are guaranteed to play 6 games because we are going to be in a group of 4 where we play 3 home matches, 3 away matches. Let's see how some of these guys that we are trying to pencil to come in to join the team will behave and respond to invitations. Well. And obviously, if they are not able to respond positively and we see some form of selectivity on their side, maybe we are playing in a country where we don't have the infrastructure and stuff. We've seen players who were selecting games For example, we are going to say Burkina Faso, oh, that place I won't go. But we are playing in Kumasi or Accra, and then they want to be available to be seen by fans and stuff like that. That's not what we want to see. And so that provides the technical team the opportunity for them to assess if what indeed they are saying by words of mouth or by their Twitter messages and stuff is actually true. Let them justify it by the qualifications games of the 2023 African Cup of Nations. That will also be preparatory games for this coming World Cup, because after the qualification, we only have 2 months. I'm sure that is when, at that time, most of the European leagues must have broken or gone on recess, and then we'll be able to have the players fully in camp to be able to assess them. But if any of these guys, as I said, refuse or show any attitude that they are not ready to play in the Nations Cup qualifiers, and that the only indication is that they want to play at the World Cup to be seen by the bigger cameras, then obviously these guys do not deserve a place in that team.
Very well. Very well. All right. What can we say? Thank you.
I side with Mr. Ernest Thompson that the basis of thank you very much.
Thank you so much. If Fatau Dauda is still there, would give him the final word so that he gives his final message before we wrap all of this up. Okay, so Fatau, final words as we look ahead to, the qualifiers for the Nations Cup, which will serve as our preparation and all of that.
I think qualify for the World Cup should be motivation for us to start playing the AFCON 2023 qualifiers. If we are able to qualify, then we should take down as a target, be able to win it. And it's possible, even qualifying for the World Cup alone is motivation. So if you're able to qualify for the AFCON with the right attitude, right mentality, that you want to win the AFCON, it's possible you can do it. But you have a lot of work to do. Well, I heard you ask, you allow Platini, Coach Asham, to answer some question about the local boys. He said it all. I can say one thing about the goalkeeping. Goalkeeping, the most important thing in goalkeeping is technique. Technically, Ghanaians, when it comes to football, not only goalkeeping, we are good. But the technique and the listening, how to play your role that the coach gives you to play, is our problem, especially goalkeeping. A lot of the guys don't have technique. So, if they can learn the technique and add to their goalkeeping, I think they will get there. We should just support Richard to keep pushing this boy because he's doing well. He's a complete goalkeeper for me. We went to the AFCON, we lost games. All the goals that we consider is not his fault, but people were blaming him. That's how the game is. He was strong enough to come and play under pressure. 2 legs. He saved that in Kumasi, and then in Abuja. We all saw it. He was even playing under pressure, playing from the back in this crucial match. That tells you how good he is. Coach Acham is there. He knows the modern football. I played a game with him before his team. He was shouting to his goalkeeper to play from the back. Because this time in the system, the goalkeeper is part of the system. So if you can't play with the leg, forget it.
99.7 FM.
All right. Sure. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Fatau Dauda. Fatau Dauda played at the FIFA World Cup in 2014. He played against Portugal. He's played at the Africa Cup of Nations and knows what it means to be on these stages. Senior football analyst Osei Owusu-Bempah and Coach Godwin Atram have been my guests this afternoon on the Joy Sports Link. Later this afternoon, we'll be hearing the conversations about the fallouts from the Oscars last weekend. How far can the comedians go? And George Quay, the host of Showbiz A to Z, is ready with the team to bring us that very big conversation.
Yes.
How you doing, my brother?
Charlie, we're good.
Yeah,
We're good. So now what it means is that if Obi is making a joke on stage and speaks about your baldness, you can go slap him.
Very difficult angle. Very difficult angle.
But isn't that what it means?
Talk about that, George. I remember the women's honors, Ghana Women's Honors.
Yeah.
It was held at the Marriott Hotel.
Yeah.
I presented a few awards there.
Yeah.
And I remember, look, Clemento Suarez is one of our finest comedians. Very natural and very spontaneous. And I remember very well that Stone Boy's wife, Dr. Louisa Ansong, had had to come and pick up an award.
Yeah.
And as she made her way onto the stage, he said, "Oh, today we are happy that there's no gun here," or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And you could hear her try to whisper, on the stage. You could read her lips. It's not funny. It's
Wow.
not funny. And she had this very stern
Stern
look on her face.
Yeah.
So it's a very it's a very important conversation we're having this afternoon. And as usual, everybody in the town and beyond is tuned in as always.
Yeah. I got a call from the Flagstaff House just as we were coming. They wanted to remind us the president will be listening.
The Tottenham Hotspurs fan. The president
Exactly,
will
he'll be listening.
All right,
He'll be
gentlemen,
listening.
thank you so much. And once again, George, would have to wish Senior Philip Ayesu a happy 50th birthday.
The legendary.
Oh,
The legendary.
man.
The legendary.
Oh man,
Yes, man.
We'll talk about that after the show. At 6
The only
p.m.
barber with swag.
Charlie. Philip Ayesu, salute to you. Happy 50th birthday. And Senior Gabo Michael Kwe, happy birthday to you, the CEO of the Ghana Free Zones Board. Gentlemen, have a wonderful time on the show, and thank you all very much. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and I have love for sport.
Thank you.